Hey everybody, welcome to lifeinmyfinances.com or the YouTube channel if you found me through that. My motto here, get out of debt, save money, and be rich. That's been my motto 6 years ago and it's still the same today. It's just progressing through those items. So today, we're going to talk about your questions about your money. If you want to reach out to me, we've got 2 questions coming up today. And those people contact me either by email at derek@lifeinmyfinances.com, through Twitter at LAMfinances, or through Facebook at facebook.com/lifeandmyfinances. So if you've got questions about money, pretty much anything related to money, if it's insurance, if it's about borrowing money, if it's about saving up, if it's about investing, I've done pretty much everything, heard about every question. So I'd love to hear from you. Send me your questions and I can answer them next week in this video. So who do we have coming up? The question's actually from Megan. So I got this a couple days ago and it's a great question. So I thought I'd answer it and show some visuals to it as well. She says, my husband and I have really been trying to get rid of our debt over the last year and a half or so. And we aren't doing too bad. We're paying off debt, smallest to largest, which is perfect, by the way, Megan. But the big balance on the credit card is what truly makes me nervous. It's $22,000 with a 10% interest rate. Yeah, $22,000 on a credit card is a lot. She says, I have some money in my 403B and was wondering if it'd be smart to make a withdrawal, pay off the debt, and then put those old payments toward my retirement fund. So if you don't get what she's trying to say, she's basically saying, I want to pull out a bunch of money out of my 403B, just pay off the debt completely. And then if I was paying $500 a month, I just made that up, but say it's $500 a month on the credit card, just pretend like that credit card payment is still there, but put that toward your 403B. So what if she did that? Is that beneficial? I hear this question a lot, Megan. It sounds like a good one, like you're borrowing from yourself instead of maybe borrowing from someone else in order to pay this debt and you still have it. So I get it. It does sound smart. The problem is, first of all, you get taxed. So you have a federal tax. I think they're required to take out, your employer that is, I think they're required to take out 20%. There's also a state tax, which is typically between 2% and 8%. So I figured that to be roughly 25% in total. And now, since you're less than 59 and a half years old, they're also going to take out 10% as a penalty for an early withdrawal. And that's really the big reason why I never recommend doing this. You end up getting 35% of your money taken out, so you're left with 65% of what you really wanted to take out in the first place. So in other words, if you needed $22,000, you have to withdraw $38,500 minus a tax, minus the penalty to get to your $22,000. So in this example, I put it on a slide here. Say you had $40,000 that you haven't contributed to in the last 3 years or so, from 35 years old to 38 years old. I just guessed at your age, Megan. Hopefully it's not wildly over, wildly under. I don't want to offend anyone on this channel, on this page, but if you're, say, 38 when you wanted to make your withdrawal, so you withdraw your $38,500 to get to your 22 to pay off your debt, that puts you down to like $19,000 in change at the age of 39. Then you're saying, let's put $6,000, that $500 a month, toward the 403B every year for the rest of my life till I'm 65. You'd see that ramps up to about $950,000. So that's pretty good yet. But it's not as good as what it could have been. So what I did is I assumed that in 4 years, you could pay off this $22,000. I bet you could do it in 2 years or less, but I was conservative. I said 4 years. And then at that point, we kick in that old credit card payment of $500 a month. So really the same story, but I let the money that was in the account, I left it alone, let it grow by itself for 4 years, and then kicked in the $6,000 a year. Guess what that gets you to? $1.169 million. So over $200,000 more by just trying to pay off your credit card by yourself without taking out of the 401 or the 403B. So I would highly recommend leaving it alone. You can take a look at my book, 101 Ways to Make More Money. It's a great resource for any time you're trying to make money on the side, especially if you have kids. There are plenty of things you can do to make money without leaving the house for 20 hours a week. But there are those options too. I mean, a lot of people choose to deliver pizzas or bartend even at night, something that's a big money maker that can make some more money that you can pay off those debts with. So I hope this helped, Megan. Best of luck to you. If you have any more questions, definitely shoot me a message through, like I said, either Facebook, Twitter, or to my direct email at derek@lifeandmyfinances.com. Our second question is from David. He said, I know you like to promote self-insuring everything you can, but what about life insurance? Do you ever plan to do without it? So by self-insuring, he basically means, once you have enough money where it doesn't make sense to pay insurance anymore. So in other words, if you have a stove, it costs you $1,000 and insurance on it is like a couple hundred, so that couple hundred a year. So that if it breaks down, you could get a new one and get it replaced. But if you have $10,000 in the bank, does it really make sense to pay insurance on an item that you can just buy if it broke down anyway? Stoves will probably last 10 years. And if you have the money, it really makes no sense to insure it. So that's one of the self-insuring options. The other meaning of self-insuring is like with cars. You have to have insurance, obviously, with a car, but you can increase your deductible if you have that savings. So if you have $10,000 saved, it might benefit you to go from a $500 deductible up to, say, a $2,000 deductible because you have at least that $2,000 in your account. It's not going to break you if you get in a car accident. Obviously, you still want coverage for that liability, but as for the collision on your car, you can probably do without it, especially if your car is only worth $5,000. So that's really self-insuring, and I do have a broken out list here that I'll show you guys. So I talked about appliances. Technology is the same thing. If you have a smartphone, probably, if you're responsible, not the smartest thing to have insurance. You can always buy another one if something random happens, but I haven't insured my phone. My phone here, I've got the iPhone 6S. Got it for a couple $100 since I signed up with Verizon for 2 years. So if it broke, or if I threw it out this window, dropped it, if I busted it, it's not insured. But is that ever going to happen? I've never broken a phone. I've never lost one. I've never thrown one in the toilet. And if I did, I'd buy another one for, I could get it off Craigslist. I could get it off some site, some other phone for like $100 or a couple $100. If I wanted this one again, I could pay $600 if I wanted to. Is it worth me insuring it for an extra $200, $250 a year? Probably not. So that's what we mean by self-insuring. And we go on with medical, the potential to increase your deductible, your house, or life insurance. So, David, let's talk about life insurance. First of all, who needs it? I'd say anyone that has dependents. So in other words, anyone that has someone else that's relying on you. It could be your parents, it could be your kids, it could be your spouse. If someone depends on your income, then you should probably have life insurance. How much do you need? I put down 10 times your annual expenses. So basically, you want to help a dependent for at least 10 years worth of expenses. I've got a daughter that's 4 months old. If I wanted to insure my life for 10 years, our expenses are roughly $30,000 a year. So I'd want to get life insurance for $300,000. Now, what I also put here was consider your current assets and income. So if I have assets, like if I had $500,000 sitting in the bank, I don't, by the way, but if I did, I probably wouldn't even need life insurance because the assets that I have exceed that 10 times annual expenses that I'm talking about. So also consider your income. Liz and I have rental property. It doesn't provide everything we need, but it means we could probably get by with a little less life insurance because we already have that income that's going to keep coming in regardless of if I pass away or not. So the short answer, David, is to do 10 times your annual expenses. If you have a bunch of assets that are pretty easy to get to, you can always subtract those from your overall life insurance policy, and go with, instead of like 500,000, you could go with 300,000, or whatever it is your assets total up to. That's the amount you deduct to get to your new amount. Again, if you have 500,000 in the bank, or if you have all the income coming in through passive investments like real estate, then you can actually do without it. If you have $2 million in investments, you probably don't need life insurance. I bet your spouse could struggle on with $2 million. So hope that helps, David, and I hope that helps Megan. Again, for any of you that want to ask questions, feel free. I'd love to answer these. My email is derek@lifeandmyfinances.com. My Facebook is facebook.com/lifeandmyfinances. Just find the message button, or put it on my wall. I can always take your questions there too. Or Twitter, which is the @LAMfinances.